Hi, everyone, and welcome to our very final episode of Exploring the Mental Health Challenges Faced by AAPI Artists. I'm your host, An Phan, and we are so thrilled to have you here today. Before we begin, we would like to thank our partnership with Asian Media Network, especially to Mai Tan Lei, for allowing us to have this amazing platform and to share it on her station. And we are just so thankful because she believed in us in the very beginning. And congratulations once again on reaching 100,000 subscribers on YouTube and earning that silver button. We know you work so hard. And we also like to thank our Synergy Health Recovery in Beverly Hills, Avi, for allowing us to film in this wonderful studio. And we're just so thankful. Hi, Todd. So welcome. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
So, our subject today is the heart behind the spotlight. It's Todd's journey with AAPI Youth in Hollywood. Thank you so much for taking your time to come here. I wanted to ask you a little bit about your journey, if you can share that to the audience.
Yeah, I started my journey in the US as a medical student, and then I ended up like finding my way to the theater, and then I was singing on stage, and then finding it very healing and very the magic of theater. And I was like, oh, I want to know more about it. And then when one of the producers I met talked to me about trying acting, and I tried it, and I really loved it. I fell in love with what I never thought I would be interested in. And then I started finding my ways to teaching kids, and then I started my company, and then here I am.
Tell me a little bit about your hometown and what's the experience like there, and how does your parents feel when you say, I like theater?
Well, I was born and raised in Taiwan, so my parents are very traditional Asian parents. They wanted me to be a doctor since I was 5. That's all I remember. And now I was like, I remember saying I love piano and singing. They're like, no, what's the point of that? You want to be a doctor because you got good grades. And I was like, oh, I got 100 on math when I was 5. So then they were very excited when I got into med school, and then when I told them that I am actually interested, thinking about taking a break, and they were like, "Oh," because I was going through like some family death, and then so I was having a really hard time to focus, and I thought it would be a good idea to kind of take a break from intense medical classes at schools, and I was like, I really need it, and so they were okay with it, thinking that was just like a phase.
Why do parents always do that? They're like, hopefully he'll get over the.
Yeah, hopefully you'll get over it. And I was like, what are you gonna do with your face? I said, I'm gonna try an MFA in acting. And they was like, oh, that's interesting switch. I was like, yeah, I just wanted to try something different because I never really had the chance to try anything different on my own will and accord. And so then like my parents thought it would be nice to have a break because they can tell I was very emotionally not doing well. So then I tried it, and they just thought I would go back one day, and I never did.
MFA in acting where?
Oh, Newer Film Academy
Oh, good
in Burbank.
job.
Yeah.
Wonderful. And so you got into acting, and then did you just go straight into the industry right after you graduated, or?
Yeah, it was really fast. Now I think about it because I before I graduated, I did a thesis film about me coming out, and that's basically what I did when I was in acting school, and then that went viral on YouTube, and it went to some film festival, and then a manager sought me out. It was really quick. I didn't even graduate. I got signed, and then so I started auditioning, and I was doing really well commercially, so that I was like, wow, this is easy. And then the second year when nothing happens, oh my gosh, this is really hard. So
Theatrically?
theatrically, yeah. And uh it was quite quick how that happened and to jump right in.
Wow. Well, so has your parents come to term that you're not going back to medical school?
As of now, I think so, but it took them a long time because I've been in the industry since 2016, and they were always asking me, "When do you go back to med school? And are you done with the phase?" I send them like commercials I've done and then films, and they were not interested in commenting on anything. And until like more like maybe the last few years, they were responding more. They were like, "Oh, I really enjoyed your commercial. Oh, that short film was really cool." And yeah, I think they're now more excited. They would ask me what my next projects are, which
Oh,
is nice, you
yeah.
know? I feel like they really were, they were seeing how happy I was doing what I love. And they once said it to me before, say, you know, you could have been a doctor and make so much money. and you choose to do this and be a starving artist, you must love it so much that you're willing to starve for it.
Oh my goodness.
So I was just like, yeah, but I'm not starving that much, you know? I'm doing okay.
Wow. But, it's, our parents want the best for us, but I do think the entertainment industry is definitely very scary for us as well. So I can imagine how, in their perspective, they must think like the most scariest thing, like the most deepest, darkest perspective you can think of. But I do think it's very amazing that you stuck to your guts and to your guns and your instinct and pursue this. But, you should book a medical role and be like, see, I'm an actor and I'm a doctor as well.
I've
Just
done
be
like
like,
short films when I was a doctor. I was and I said, look,
I changed
that
my mind. So that would be amazing. So I'm very curious. I wanted to ask you, so tell me a little bit about the management stuff that you do also, on top of acting. Tell me a little bit about that, your role.
I started I didn't think I was going to step into talent management because I had no idea how to do that at the beginning. And I was just teaching kids acting because I enjoy teaching and I enjoy helping them to hone their craft. And then they start going out to audition for the short films, the student films. And it's not until during COVID that I was really trying to figure out what to do with my life in general. Like, what am I doing? I'm good at teaching kids, but then I don't really want to stay as a teacher because I felt a stronger calling for something bigger, and I don't know what that is.
When you say teaching kids, sorry to interrupt, but you mean like coaching kids to acting?
Yeah, coaching kids acting and coaching them just basic acting skills and then audition skills. And I was teaching it at a talent studio, and I didn't really feel like that's quite what I wanted to do. And so I during COVID, I was like thinking to myself what I want to do more. And then I thought production is something I would be more interested in doing with kids. So I started doing stage productions after COVID and like putting shows on. And I was like, well, if I put a shows on, I should have some like guests, like, judges, people to see. And then wouldn't it be cool if there's like agents, talent managers, or producers, directors, and casting directors, and some cool actors they can look up to. They're already kind of famous. They kind of maybe recognize even. So I start doing that, and then that turned into a connection to a talent agency who want to work with my kids that I coach. But then those parents are all immigrants, so their English are pretty limited. So they have no idea. They keep asking me questions, and I have to be the one that translate and be the bridge. Then that's when I realized that's what I want to be. I want to be the bridge. Like, I want to be the bridge for the immigrant community here, for Asian Americans, and their kids are talented, bilingual, and they don't have the means to connect to Hollywood because the parents can't communicate. And if I were that bridge to communicate, then that solved that problem. And I see that need in that community, in my community. So I wanted to do something about it. So I created my company, and then I took that role of being a talent manager. It's a little risky for me because I have no idea if I am a good one or not. But I reminded myself, like, I didn't know I was going to be a good actor or not after when I was in medical school. I was like, I'm just going to take that leap of faith and just do my best and then learn as I grow. And that's what I've been doing.
You're amazing. Wow. I mean, that's awesome because you take on a lot of hats and you also understand, from your background perspective, what, there's like a gap in communication. So you're helping to translate that for their parents and for the kids and helping them navigate through this industry is not easy. So that's a really hard job too. So you work closely with AAPI youth and their parents. So my question to you is, how do you help both navigate the emotional roller coasters of auditions, rejections, and wins in such a very high pressure industry?
Yeah, it's at the very beginning when I meet the parent and the kids, I will always have an interview and sit down and tell them about what it means to be an actor. And then, does that mean you're giving up things? Does that mean is I'm gonna be famous? Because they always come in with the mindset that I'm gonna be famous and I'm gonna be rich. And I was just like, well, that's what you see after they work years and years and then become that. But I want them to focus on learning, growing, training. So then that way the progress. So that way they don't feel so much of like they don't just jump into it and then get rejected right away, and they get the training to feel confident enough to go out there. So I believe in training. They have to train, and all actors should train. So I will tell the parents, I'll interview them as well, to prep them, tell them then that how difficult it is. And a lot of them understand that. They're like, yeah, we don't see a lot of AAPI representation in Hollywood, so how is it going my kid's gonna do it so well or not? And they're obviously scared, just like my parents were scared when I told I want to be an actor. They were like, how are you gonna be sure? I was like, I'm not gonna be sure, but I know this is what I love to do, and I'm gonna as long as I have the right team that's working with me, I will be able to excel and then work. And I may not be able to promise to be famous, but I will promise that I will keep working.
I love that. I love that, you're being realistic. You're not only laying out the ground rules for
Hmm.
the parents, or like this is how it's going to go, and we
Right.
don't know the final results, just like
Hmm.
everything in life, we
Right.
never know. Be prepared to face rejection, be prepared to work out, really hard. You have to hone in your craft, and that's all you really can do. Even as actors, I mean, we can only do our best. We don't know what the results will be. Sometimes we get callbacks, sometimes we get pinned, sometimes they don't give us any feedbacks. That's
Right.
just such as life. But you're not only training the kids, you're also kind of training the parents.
Yes. That's
You're
a
like
big part of
taking
the
a whole
job.
whole family. If you don't do it right, they're gonna go find you. Just joking. But speaking about that, there's a lot of cultural expectations, kind of like how you talked about your family, how your mom and dad wants you to be a doctor, for example, right? So there's a cultural expectation, and that can shape how family responds to success or failure. So my question to you is, how do you approach those type of conversation, especially when parents carry very traditional values into a very Western, fast-paced Hollywood system? How do you navigate that if they're expecting fast-paced success?
Right. That's really hard because I have high success rate to communicate that with parents and to have them understand, to really set their expectation and then understand what how industry actually works. But it's a very interesting fine line with like prepping them, but also give them enough excitement to know that they your kids will do well if you keep training and if you follow the steps that I have created that's been working for many kids. And um, I always tell them like you want either quick success, but then like in the end, what we're doing here is giving your kid a skill set, and then it's acting is so much more skills than just going to Hollywood, going to movies. They teach you how to communicate with people. They teach you how to be able to succeed in your interviews because auditions, red carpets, all these experience will uh, equip your kids with skills that you want them to have, and then they are getting that through acting. And it's a very applicable skill set to anywhere in life. And so I don't see that. I try to help them see how that really helped with the kids in the bigger picture, and then realize that they're just because they're doing acting classes, they're signed. It doesn't mean they're giving up everything else outside of life. They're still a kid. They can still choose to be a lawyer, to be a doctor, any profession they want to do, as long as they get to see what they want to do, right?
So those little talents, like the little things that they do, it helps them build up their talents and skill set to
Right.
be whatever they want to be if they just decide that acting isn't for
Right.
them. No, that's really cool. And I do think, what you said too, like I do like the little small wins. Like if they perform, like I went to see your kids' talent showcase. They're so talented. They're like this tiny, they're little kids. They're like this tall, and they're so little, and but they have so much spunk and energy, and it's just so amazing because when I was their age, I used to shove crayons up my nose, and I think I was the best thing. These kids are like off book, completely off book, and they know what to do. And
Yeah.
that's so incredible, and they can perform in front of public, and they're not scared. So I think that's very beautiful, and it's very, and I do think kids are very smart, and I hope they understand, like, a lot of things are unpredictable, but what you can control is the things that, working hard and celebrating small wins. So with that being said, like, what advice do you give to parents to help them mentally prepare, not the children, for the parent to help mentally prepare for the highs and lows of the industry? And In other words, like, it's kind of hard to for us, I'm not a parent, but for parents to see their kids cry when they, so close to getting something. Like, how do you prepare parents to be like, don't break your heart so much. There'll always be another opportunity. Like, how do you help them?
I think parents are very different. Some parents are very tiger parent. They want them to do well. They are strict. And then I always tell the parents like it's very important that you give uh, you tell them it's okay. But then you also uh, try to see the joy why your kids love performing, your kids love this. So just because they get a rejection, they get a no, it does not. I don't see it as a failure, because it's really just a way to learn how to grow, and it's always a good experience. And if you can kind of have that mindset, and then you will be able to help ground your children as well, because you being a parent, your kids are very influenced by you. So then like be having a really level head about like every opportunity, and then just to know that Hollywood's a lot of it is about luck as well. It's not just that your kid is the best and that he books every time, and she's the prettiest and she books all the time. No, it's sometimes just really just luck, and then it's not the character's not for you, and then there will be something when it's for you, and you, as long as you're ready to catch it, then that's what we train. And it's I think it's okay for us to have like, oh, I really want to get this one. I really didn't get it. But then like the parents, I will always tell them to understand like there are so many opportunities out there, and then there will always be a next one, and we can always learn from this, because every failure, every no you get, it's basically just a way to know, oh, I'm gonna become better every time. And as long as they have the right mindset, because their mood also affect their kids. So then I always tell them to they have to be strong and in for themselves as well. And um there are definitely parents that are like maybe overworked, and then they're spread too thin, and they're also like too tired, and then you will kind of see that reflected in their kids as well. So
Yeah. I believe that, like, I'm just speaking on my anecdotal experience. I absorb from my parents.
yeah.
Yeah, I absorb their feeling, their mood. I don't really learn from them, absorb their energy. So kids are very sensitive. So it's very good to have that conversation. Do you have any like one of some of the favorite projects that the kids have worked on that you would like to share that they've had auditions or they got callback from or anything amazing that they have worked on?
The probably one of the hardest auditions to do is for Broadway auditions. So then I have two kids. They're like talented singer, dancer, actors, and then they go through rounds and rounds of audition. They fly to New York on their own expenses to see. But then like the kids, I have two kids I have, they have done it so far with like different big national tour project. They fly to New York, and they didn't get picked. But then they went there, and then they always come back to me, oh my gosh, my eyes just got opened. It's like how many talented kids out there are AAPI. It's like, there are six of us in the room, and they're all extremely talented. And then like they actually didn't feel sad not being picked. They just go, this is
I'm so honored to be
I know, I'm so excited to be there. And then like to see the people that actually direct the Beauty and the Beast national tours, and then to see people that actually all excited to do this. So these are the kids I feel like it may be because I prepped them early on. Maybe they knew they have experience now about the rejections, and then knowing that that doesn't mean they're not good enough. But they came back with like really excitement, with like more sparkles in their eyes, and that's like, you are made for this industry. That was like, it was so exciting to see.
just to see them being excited and passionate and being so young too and just like you should be so proud. I mean, you're starting off, you're being so
Yeah,
productive at the age of five,
right.
6 or
And then I was
7.
like, you're
Yeah.
9, and then look at how many people in the country audition for this role, and you're one of the top 6 there. I was
Yeah.
like, and then that's a win. That's a big win.
I do hope their parents are just as excited for them as they are.
I think right now the parents are becoming better at watching their kids. Like they realize, as long as my kids is having a great time, is very happy doing what they're doing, and they're pretty happy seeing it, and willing to spend the money and the time into it.
And the last question I wanted to ask you a little bit is the mental wellness toolkit for if you can create one, a mental wellness toolkit for every AAPI actor and their family. What are the top 3 essentials you put inside and
Oh,
why?
that was a very hard question. So I think for that one, um, I actually tell a lot of kids to do this too because first one I would probably put in as a journal. I think for AAPI families, we're not good at communicating our emotions to each other because we're like told not to. We're like, put it all inside. But I was
How
like,
dare you
yeah,
cry?
no crying for, yeah. But I think for kids, I think writing it, a lot of kids actually really enjoy writing how they feel out. And then like I think writing how you feel and then a journal, it's actually quite helpful in the future. Even just looking back, oh, this is how I grew myself, and then like how I really felt each time. And I think journal was very helpful. I know it sounds a little, like a very common answer because everybody's kind of go, oh, journaling. But I think it's like especially now with phones and like they a lot of time people use technology as an escape, right? And then so there's too much distraction there. But a journal is a very simple. It's just paper and you, and then you write whatever you want on there, and then to feel. So I think journal is one thing I would definitely put in there. Second one, and this is something that took a while for me to think about, but second one I would think it would be something related to their culture, like because AAPI Asian American kids uh, they are not as in touch with their cultures as because a lot of time I feel like parents tend to try to assimilate their culture because they want to fit in, and then like the kids, I think kids now don't feel that way as much anymore, but they're also not that they're not introduced enough to their own culture to see their identity because they to see that, oh, this is part of me. Like if I am Chinese American, I would like to know what my culture is, like my roots, so that way they kind of understand their parents, they understand the community. So I thought it would be really it's something that I would put in there to like some kind of cultural references or a compass, I guess, like just something to direct and guide them. The last one is I think it would be something that to help them to cope with the rejections and within Hollywood, especially like maybe inspirational notes or like stories, maybe even biography. Like people like they have talked about their experience and journeys, and then for them to see and have somebody to look up to know how to um, cope with no, yeah,
You
because
have to remember why you're in it, why you started. Remember that passion, that light before all the things get distracted. Wow, that's absolutely amazing. I mean, that's not hard because you answered pretty much journaling. I think that's wonderful, writing down your thoughts, because I'm sure they have a lot on their mind. And I want to ask you, Todd, like, what is your upcoming projects? Or anything you'd like to share? What's Todd doing? Like, I mean, I'm so proud of you, first of all, because you said that you started this during COVID. You're like, you had no idea, like, if you wanted to continue to coach. You did a fine, good job. And I'm not your mom, but I'll tell you right now, I'm so proud of you, kid. My son. I'm so proud of you. I don't want you to be a doctor. I'm very proud of you, whatever you're doing. Send that to your mom, and she'll probably be like, what? But yeah, what's the project? What are you doing now? What can we, help support you on?
yeah, my we are doing. I always try to get the kids signed up for a black box theater. So we're doing Hollywood Fringe Festival this year with a drama piece and a musical piece. It is happening in June, so it's coming up, and we're rehearsing. Literally, we're doing this dress rehearsal tomorrow at the theater, and so that's coming up in June for the Hollywood Fringe Festival 2025, and that will be really exciting to get people to come and watch them, support them, and then I will get the judges to come and to invite them to come to one of the shows to like give us a chance to maybe win awards that I think we deserve. But it's the same thing. It's still Hollywood, and I just wanted the kids to have that experience and to train. It's a lot different than the showcase when you have like 200 seats versus like 50 when they're really close to you. So yeah, so that's coming up, and yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
amazing. You have more than enough on your plate with all your children and their parents. So, could you share on camera where we can find you on social media, where we can see all the updates, if you would like to share here?
So my company is called iStage Entertainment. So you can find us on Instagram at iStage Entertainment. And we also have a website. It's just istageentertainment.com.
And thank you again, Todd, for coming here and sharing your story. I think it's like the perfect way to wrap our Ami episode because not only that you're just amazing actor, what you're doing for the community, but you're also like he help leading the youth like the next generation, and it's just perfect in what we do in our philosophy for AAPI community. So thank you so much again for coming on here and trusting us with the platform, and we wish you all the best and all the luck. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for watching. Bye.